So this morning, part of our worship is going to be a little bit different. We've got Mick with us this morning, who is our dear friend and has been for a long time. And Mick is here to share some of his story of what God has done in his life over the last wee while. So Mick, I would love you to come up and share with us your story. And when you're up here, you've got the privilege of being able to take your mask off.
Hello friends, long time no see for you because I've been a little bit tied up. I couldn't get out and I couldn't come down, but I have been here with you in spirit. Right now, I've just written a few little notes down so I don't get it wrong. Now, I actually wrote this and I put some quotes in from the Bible and some quotes in from books I've read. And then when I read it, I thought, throw it away, Michael, throw it away. It's more like a sermon. So there's not going to be any of that, I'm afraid. But I'm going to start with, you could say, what happened to me started about 2 years ago. I was pronounced with cancer, bowel cancer. And I've got to say that, please don't be upset anyone, but God allowed me to get that cancer because he had a reason. I didn't know he had a reason. I didn't know why I got it, but I do now. But at the time I didn't. Where's my glasses because I cannot read my own writing. Right. As I say, he had a reason for it, and I believe he was testing me. He was giving me something to do, which I hadn't done. I've been a Christian for over 20 years. But there was something I had never really done until this happened. But we'll come on to that. So, anyway, when I had my first operation, that was to remove a single tumour. And when I was lying in the room before you go into the operating theatre, I was terrified. Because those of you who are at a slightly older age, when you hear the word cancer, there's one thing comes to mind, that's death. Because when I was younger, when you got cancer, you were virtually going to die. You knew it. But now, thank the Lord, through skilled surgeons and the Lord's hand on them, and medical transformers, it's not the end of everything. And for me, it was another beginning. So anyway, on the first stop, I was lying there waiting to go in, and I was terrified. And this gentleman, I'd never seen him before, I think he was an anaesthetist, leant over just before they gave me the needle to put me to sleep. Said, it's all right, I am with you. And that wasn't him saying that. That was Jesus telling me I was all right, I was going to make it through, he was with me. Anyway, I went through that operation and it was successful. 6 weeks later, I was having further problems, so they took me back in and another examination, this, that and the other, and it had gone from the one tumour that cut out to about half my lower bowel being infected with cancer. I don't know how many tumours I had, and they had grown rapidly. So it was a vigorous, and the first one they said was stage 1 cancer. The second time they said it was stage 3. So in about 6 weeks it had really gone aggressive. So when I went in for that operation, again, I was frightened. And while they were prepping me for me up, they were calling me Mr. Robson, Mr. Robson, Mr. Robson. And again, just before I was taken in for the operation, one of them, I don't know which one it was, turned around and said, "It's all right, Michael, you'll be all right." That was the first time they used my first name. Now again, I don't think that was him, I think that was God. I honestly believe that was from God. To let me know, again, I was saved. Anyway, I had that operation, and for about a year and a half, I was on a colostomy bag. We'll not go into details, but I was on a colostomy bag. So, anyway, I was rushed into hospital because about a year and a half after the op, because I was in absolute agony. I really thought I was dying. I've never had that much pain for a long time. And they said what was wrong was I'd got a hernia, and it was pressing on what was left of my bowel. So it had shut my bowel down, and of course the hernia was painful. Now, because of COVID, they weren't going to do anything, but they said I was in that much trouble. They got within about, I think it was 5 or 7 days, I was in hospital having the operation reversed. And again, that went successful, very successful, I hope. No, I know it was. It's very successful, and everything's been reversed, and I'm nearly normal, whatever normal is. Not that I've ever been normal, but never mind. Anyway, so, but when I had that the third operation, things were different. I was even more frightened of the third operation. I mean, I don't know if you've heard the expression, three times unlucky or something, which is a lot of rubbish, but these things go through your head. And anyway, I was absolutely terrified. Now, normally, when you're in that little room waiting to go in for your surgery, you've got 2 or 3 of them messing about doing this, that and the other, putting the tubes on you and what have you. They all disappeared. I was lying in that room on my own, and I was absolutely, well, it's a good job I was wearing a bag, put it that way. Now then, I lay there, I thought, so I thought, right, I'll pray. So I prayed to Jesus. I said, Jesus, give me a message, tell me I'm going to be all right. Or words to that effect, I'm paraphrasing, but you know. And nothing happened. Not a thing. Absolutely nothing. Well, I got even more scared then. Anyway, in the end, I just said, right, that's it. And I just said, Lord, whatever happens, happens. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die. But I hope that you have a place in heaven for me, and that when I wake up, I will be in glory with you. Like that, bang. Fear just went, left me. I felt euphoric. And suddenly, they were all back in the room. It was, I don't know where they'd been. I didn't even know if they might not have gone, but to me they'd gone. I was on my own. Anyway, so I went in, had my operation, and I'd say it was successful. And then, when I was lying on when I was on the ward recovering, funny enough, there were 6 beds in the ward. 3 beds there, 3 beds here. All these 3 beds had a Michael in them. All 3 beds. And the one on my right, Michael on my right, took bad. He was really ill, and they were rushing about and whatnot. And I prayed for him. And then when they'd gone, I said, I leant over, and I said, Michael, do you want me to pray for you? And he said, well, if you want to, like. Yes, I said, I want. I said, I feel I should do. So I prayed for him. I prayed he'd be healed. And I prayed his family would be fine, and this, that, and the other, you know, as you do. And anyway, next thing, he took bad again. And when they were working on him, I prayed again. But this time, I prayed, by the way, I prayed out loud to him. I'd prayed quietly before himself, prayed out to him. When they were working on the second time, I prayed out loudly. And I mean, there was half a dozen members of staff around him, nurses, doctors, whatever. Anyway, and I prayed out loud, and the whole ward heard me, and I had no shame, no fear. I was great in praying, and I felt great. Anyway, they rushed him away to intensive care. I don't know what happened to him. Every time I asked, they wouldn't tell me what had happened to him. Maybe they don't know, I don't know. But what I did pray for him, I know I prayed, and the Lord was with him. Now, whether he was saved or not, I don't know. So I don't know whether he went to heaven. But I do know that part of my prayer was that should he die, he would go quietly and peacefully and without pain. So I know my prayer was answered one way or the other. He either survived or he died without pain. Right, so that's... Just get me notes. And at the moment, it appears I'm recovering from the cancer because I had another scan and there was no sign of it, so great. But as I said at the start, this started about 2 years ago, but really it didn't. Something even more powerful happened as part of that prayer to Jesus, that last prayer I made to him when I was lying on the bed. Because I give myself, and I just said, that's it. If I'm going, I'm going, and I just hope I'm in heaven with you, Lord. Since I was 16 years of age, I've suffered from very chronic depression. I've attempted suicide on several occasions, and I've been on antidepressants virtually all my life. But since that time in hospital, the depression has dropped dramatically. I am a different person. I think Jesus is healing my depression. Though I didn't ask for it, it's been prayed for a long time, but it didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen was because I hadn't realized how much Jesus could do for me. I was a Christian, but I hadn't realized. And as soon as I put my life in his hands, it happened. And I just want to say that if you're downhearted, if you're unhappy, if you're ill, pray. There's nothing wrong with praying. It's a great thing. And when you're praying to Jesus and God, and they love you. I've never felt so much love in my life as I do now. I never realized how much my family loved me. I thought they just liked me because I was dad, you know. But they absolutely love me, and I've missed that. Oh, how old's the oldest? Oh, I'll get wrong if I get this right. 46. He's about 46, I think. So for 46 years I've missed that. So I didn't see it because I wasn't looking for it. Because I thought I was no good, I was nothing. And yet Jesus has proved to me I am something and I am loved. And I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you very much. Sorry if I've gone on a bit long, but thanks.